Hey guys, welcome to the very first Are You Hardcore of 2021. Let's see how this year goes, shall we? Right, I've got a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a big one, which really is going to change the way that people play. So yes, I've got a lot to go through. So let's jump right into the usual spiels, shall we? Spiel, shall we? Read the book for full details on the rules for this month and to unlock more Patreon hats and sword skins. Are You Hardcore is a monthly challenge and you can stay up to date by following the Mob Cave on YouTube. Alrighty then, so, jumping in. Also, what is this down here? Are You Hardcore, February 2021, hardened. Because that's what we are all hardened Are You Hardcore players now, aren't we? Join the Discord, turn on recording reminders, and definitely turn on Batty's Chords pack. Support us, get rewards, and subscribe. Alright, here we go. This month's rules. The world is hardening. Most naturally generated blocks will turn into cobblestone or obsidian when broken. Alright, this is the first of like 3 big changes to the world. Right, so anything like natural, like grass or tree or stone or, you know, things that are naturally generated, when you break them, it'll still drop the block, so you'll get dirt if you dig grass, but then the grass will then turn into cobblestone or obsidian. In fact, most softer things will turn into cobblestone, and most harder substances will turn into obsidian. So yes, grass will turn into cobblestone, digging stone will turn into obsidian. However, if you dig the cobblestone or the obsidian, then that will break. And so you can progress that way. Like if you're trying to get up something that's made of grass, you dig the grass block, it turns into cobblestone, you can then dig the cobblestone and it'll break, and then you can carry on hopping up the ledge. Alright, that's the first big thing. Anything open to the sky will start developing a crust of new blocks. This hardening effect will get faster over time. Also, the void is rising. Every minute, the void will rise by 1 block. Alright, back to the start of this. So, anything open to the sky will start developing a crust of new blocks. Basically, a whole load of new things, new blocks will start appearing around you. If you played in the Overgrowth one, then it'll kind of be slightly familiar, because that was the same mechanic of things that were open to the sky would start developing this overgrowth. It's kind of the same, but now it's hardened blocks are appearing. So mostly this will consist of grass blocks, cobblestone, mossy cobblestone, and gravel. However, you will also get a whole heap of just randomly selected blocks appearing as well. So you'll be able to gather things from this hardening effect. It speeds up over time, also. After 60 minutes, the hardening effect will be at full speed. So after 1 hour, it will be in full effect. Alright, also the void is rising. It rises by 1 block per minute. And you'll see on the sidebar, on the right-hand side of your screen, so over here, if you can see that, you'll see what level it has risen up to, which also is a counter. It will tell you how many minutes have passed in the game. So that's an interesting little thing. Right, let's read through the rest. You have a companion drill at your disposal. You can control it with your drill control item. Watch the announcement video for full details on how to control it. That is this video. I will show you at the end of this video how to control the drill. I'm actually going to hop into the game and show you how you control this thing. But it is going to be insanely useful, especially in the later stages of the game. So yes. By the way, you may want to rewatch this video or take notes or something. I'm saying an awful lot of things because this is going to change the way you play Minecraft. Honestly, it's going to change everything. So make sure you're listening up and taking notes if you have to, or rewatch the video, rewatch parts of it, just to make sure you've got everything down, you know what's going to happen. That is my suggestion, anyway. Your aim is to survive and build a home/bunker for yourself in this hardened environment. Keep building higher to avoid falling into the void. Avoid the void. Do not go to the nether. You may sleep, phantoms are on. So, don't go to the nether, yeah. General rules, no cheating, eat what you like, and if you're recording, post your first run. Feel free to play again, but declare it's your X number playthrough. The challenge lasts 2 hours and 40 minutes, so that gives you an indicator of how high the void is going to rise. It rises by 1 block per minute. There are 20-minute notifications and a fanfare to let you know when you've finished. Good luck, and have fun. Right. Okay, so first couple of episodes, I recommend that you go around and gather the materials that you're going to want to build your bunker with, because you're probably not going to get that, that type of material whilst you're in this hardening effect. Well, you might do, depending on what you're going to build out of. But yes, first couple of episodes, go around gathering things, food, supplies, and materials to build with. Yes. The longer you leave it before you start putting roots down, and what I mean by that is, with this hardening effect going on around you, at some point you're going to want to stand, in the same area, so you can allow this hardening effect to rise up into the sky. And it is going to rise up into the sky after you sit in one area for a while. But the longer you leave it before you do that, the more likely it is that the void is going to catch you. So, yes, spend a couple of episodes gathering stuff, but be aware in that 40 to 60 minute margin that you're really going to want to start sitting still somewhere at some point. Yes. Of course, what you could do is go over and find a mountain that is already really high up and start putting roots down there. Basically, you can do that, but that's playing on easy mode. You're negating part of the challenge if you do that, and part of the fun of staying away from the void. However, if you're finding it difficult, like if you play it once and you're really on low ground, and you're finding it really difficult to stay above the void, then maybe you could replay it on slightly higher ground. But do be aware, the nature of how this mechanic works, of creating these hardening blocks around you, if you start on a peak, the peak is going to grow, and then the things around it are going to grow, but from the ground upwards. It's going to be down here growing up. And it kind of, in a way, limits your space, because if you're up here, you can't go sideways because you're just going to dig into nothingness. The hardening effect is going to be at this level, and you're going to be at this level, if you see what I mean. So you're kind of limiting your space a little bit if you're building on a peak. All right. And to that effect, starting on flat ground is actually a good idea, a flat open space, because that will give you the most space to work with when the hardening effect starts rising you up into the sky. Okay. Told you, lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Okay, I've played this game like 3 or 4 times now. And... Whee, running out of battery on my mouse, apparently. There are kind of 3 stages to this game. It just works out that way. The first stage is going around gathering your materials and, collecting everything you're going to need for the later stages. Then it's setting down roots, staying in one area as everything starts growing up around you, and you try and keep up on top of it and mine anything that's useful to you. That's kind of stage 2. Then stage 3 is when you finally kind of get covered over by this hardening effect. You end up in a cavern or a tunnel of your own making inside this hardening effect. That is the effect or the stage where the drill, this guy, is going to be your absolute best friend. Because he's going to be able to drill through things for you that would take you a long, long time, especially because of this this effect where anything you mine turns into cobblestone or obsidian. That is negated by this drill fella. Well, I'll tell you about in a minute. So, yes. All right, tips. The hardening effect is actually your friend. Don't be afraid of it, because it's going to help you. And you are, at some point, going to have to sit and set down roots and use this hardening effect to your advantage to build you up into the sky. So don't be afraid of it. Stick around with it. It's going to help you and give you resources and stuff. So, yes. You can also help this hardening effect by building platforms, because it builds on anything that's open to the sky. So if you build a platform, it's going to then build on top of that platform, and it's going to become higher up than it was, essentially. So that is really useful, especially if you're trying to stay above the void, is to create little platforms where the hardening effect is not doing such a good job. Say it kind of builds in peaks, so you'll get a peak here and lots of peaks, but in between there'll be little low grounds. So if you build a platform over that low ground, then you've kind of even out the peaks, if you see what I mean, and it'll help the hardening effect to grow higher above the void. Also, the hardening effect will not build on water or lava or over the void. So building platforms above water, lava, and void is a really good idea, because otherwise you're going to limit your space. Whew. Okay, I'm nearly done. Again, I can nearly show you what the drill is all about. When you're in the final stage, you're inside the hardening effect and you're building your tunnels and stuff, it is a good idea to build floors and ceilings. Because say you send off your drill, which you can do, I'll show you that in a minute, up into a new area of this hardening effect, and you create an upwards diagonal tunnel or something, then you should probably be careful that you haven't opened up pathways to the sky. The sun is shining through, and that means that the hardening effect is going to cover in the walkway you've just built. So you need to build a ceiling there to stop that from happening, and make sure you build a floor so you don't fall down any holes into the void. So yes, building, send that going, and then make sure you've built ceilings and floors is a very good tip for the tunneling stage. Also, final big tip, dirt or grass, gathering dirt is a great resource, because you may have realized this, you can dig it twice. Essentially, you can dig the dirt and it'll turn to cobblestone. So you can then place down dirt pathways and platforms and stuff, and then you can dig it back up again. It'll turn the platform into stone, and you'll have regained the dirt you just used for it. So dirt is a fantastic resource. You should really make use of that. All right, that is everything, apart from the drill. I highly recommend that either you take notes or you go back and rewatch little parts of it, because I've just packed a whole load of information into that. Information overload, but it's really, really useful stuff that will help you survive in this game. Actually, I find this game really quite relaxing, because it's kind of like playing something like Don't Starve, or I'd say They Are Billions, but They Are Billions is quite stressful. But it's kind of that feeling of, I can take my time and do these things, and I'm not getting too harangued by mobs and stuff. But I also have to be wary that if I don't build up fast enough, if I don't do the things fast enough, then I may fall into the void. So yes, really interesting game here. Anyway, I'm going to show you what the very beginning of the game is going to look like, and how to use the drill. So I'm actually going to jump on into the game. You'll see the hardening effect. Not in full effect, because it won't be very fast, but you'll see what it looks like. Here we go. All right, I am here. Hardening effect is beginning. See, mossy cobblestone, gravel, cobblestone, and somewhere we'll probably see some grass around. Harder to see the grass amongst the grass. That's probably one right there. Right. So, the drill. You have a drill item. Drill control. Now, if you're standing near the drill, you notice it is looking in the same direction that I'm looking. You can also look upwards and downwards, and it'll go in that direction as well. Anyway, if you've got this in your hand and you right-click in a direction, it will start digging in that direction. Very slowly, and it mines through everything, and it doesn't drop the block, it just digs directly through it. Right, it'll dig for about 20 blocks in that direction, but if I right-click again, it stops. And you can see it says it's in standby mode now, where before it was saying it was moving. Now, if I'm standing away from the drill and I right-click, then it is now returning to me, and it will dig through anything along its path. It also dynamically changes to follow me wherever I am. You see, it's following me in whichever direction I am. And when it reaches me, it will go back into standby mode again and just wait for your next command. All right, the final thing you can do with it is, if I'm over here and it's miles away from me, I can look downwards and right-click, and I can teleport it to me. However, it is now recharging, and it will recharge for 4 minutes. And the final thing to be aware of is that it will teleport after you. So if I move 70 blocks away from me, if I move 70 blocks away from it, hard to move 70 blocks away from yourself, it will teleport after me, and it will restart that counter of 4 minutes. Also, I can do it myself. Within those 4 minutes, I can't tell it to do anything apart from teleport to me and restart those 4 minutes. So there you go. That is the drill. It is a really, really useful buddy to have, especially in the final stages to create these tunnels that you are going to need. I swear there was one other thing I thought of whilst I was doing this that I thought was going to be really useful for you, but I can't remember what it was. Ah, dear. I probably said everything that's going to be really useful to you. Probably. I think. Maybe. Oh, it can fly, by the way. You can send it up into the sky, and it will just hover there. Oh, I remember what it was. If you're in multiplayer, you can kind of... You can interfere with other people's commands. So if I tell it to go in one direction, and then another person clicks it, then it will stop moving. And then the other person can click it and it will start returning, and then I could click and it will stop it. So you do interfere with each other's commands. There is only one drill, but you can both control it. And yes, it flies. Don't send it into the void, down way below you, but below Y0, because you'll probably kill it, which would be very bad. But that's unlikely to happen. All right, that's it. That's everything. And look at this hardening effect happening around you. I don't think I've ever actually gone into the game before in Are You Hardcore to show you what things are like. This has been a long video, but there's been a lot of things to show off. So, this is a really fun one. Really interesting. Really changes the way you play. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, I've been Ed Case, and I'll see you on the inside. Boy. If you're taking part, why not join the Are You Hardcore Discord to chat with other players and post your videos. Remember that you can support the Mob Cave on Patreon to receive even cooler hardcore hats. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.